Large sums of money and prosperity flow to you easily and quickly as fulfillment is your true self. As in, you are already fulfilled. And having sought and found the kingdom within, all that you desire is now automatically added onto you. We simply allow it to happen. True self-acceptance, as acceptance of the end wills the means. So today's conversation mind map is titled, Prosperity Flows Effortlessly and Easily from and thus to you. Now we've been discussing, fulfillment is the natural way of life. And this moment now is where all fulfillment is and ever shall be. Fulfillment is your natural way of being. See, your true self is one with all, and thus needs nothing, as you are already complete. So thus being one with all, you are already prosperous, and you effortlessly and easily reveal what you consider as prosperity with true self-acceptance. And by that I mean acknowledgement that you are already fulfilled now. This is how you live a life of prosperity from the kingdom of heaven within, rather than a life identified with inaccurate, scarcity-based beliefs that seem to suggest lack of prosperity. Now, as we discussed in Sunday's video, it is ideal to consider yourself to be one with the source of all prosperity. For consciousness is complete, as it is said in the Bible, that all things already exist, and all things are already created. So we are revealing what already exists, as all states of consciousness exist now. See, one may have been identified with beliefs that suggest otherwise, as in related to lack of prosperity. These beliefs, which exist only in mind, result in attention appearing to go in a direction to validate those beliefs. And this is due to the truth that reality appears by law. And with law, all things were made. And without law, nothing was made that has been made. In reference to John 1:1-3. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him all things were made. Without him, nothing was made that has been made. To discuss this further, let's revisit Prosperity by Charles Fillmore. Today we'll explore the chapter titled, God has provided prosperity for every home. He starts off the chapter by saying, the home is the heart of the nation. The heart is the love center. Love is the world's greatest attractive power. The electromagnetic that lifts the ingots of steel must first be charged with the electric current, for without the current it is powerless. So the heart of us, or the home that is the heart of the nation, must be aglow with God's love. Then it becomes a magnet drawing all good from every direction. God has amply provided for every home, but the provision is in universal substance, which responds only to law. Through the application of the law, the substance is drawn to us and begins to work for us. I see the universal substance as the light of consciousness. As he also said in the book, God's substance may be conceived as God energy or spirit light. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. So the light is consciousness, and consciousness, although mostly unknown, unseen, is the only fundamental reality of all phenomena of life. And there's only consciousness, one fundamental reality that is now being experienced as subjects and objects. So our relationship with prosperity is revealed in experiences that are a reflection of our state of consciousness. And they're infinite states, as all states have been created and are available for access now. So we enter into a prosperity-based state of consciousness by acknowledging that we already have what we desire regardless of appearances. Now, everyone has their own definition of prosperity. It could be financial, spiritual, physical, intellectual, family, social, career, or business prosperity, or however you define prosperity. And in regards to accepting your prosperity fulfillment, which is true self-acceptance, as fulfillment is your true self and prosperity your divine inheritance, be neutral to appearances in the world made visible through the senses from past beliefs imagined that seem to indicate how you should define prosperity, or if you should or should not experience prosperity. The truth that sets you free is that you get to decide how you would like your prosperity to appear, as he says here. It is the law of love that we have whatsoever we desire. As the Father gives his children gifts, so the Lord gives to us because of love. So again, to emphasize, you choose how you would like your prosperity to appear. I've spoken to many who do not allow themselves to have the prosperity they desire. They, without discernment, have shamed themselves for believing they should not experience the prosperity that they desire. Remember, happiness and fulfillment are your true nature, as your true self is happiness and fulfillment, from which it reflects as prosperity of flourishing, thriving, well-being, access to resources, and overall quality of life, etc. Prosperity, thus, is life experience based on your style of fulfillment. I like how Neville Goddard once said it when it comes to desire and fulfillment. He said, "What you now desire you already have, and you seek it only because you have already found it. You found it in the form of desire." So in this regard, what you seek you find within through desire. And by that I mean, desire is simple acknowledgement of already having. It is key to remain abiding in your prosperity state of consciousness to allow prosperity to appear in whatever shape or form that you desire prosperity to appear. We do this by any time a desire shows up, accept it as already having. I recall a number of times when I left the prosperity state of consciousness by craving instead of accepting, which started to reflect accordingly in my business and relationships. Business was not experienced ideally. I was reactive, resulting in thoughts of doubt. The same was in my personal relationships, and thus the experiences were reflected from that lack of prosperity state accordingly as clients and relationships no longer wanting to do the ideal deals. All result of me not abiding in the ideal state of prosperity consciousness. He says, when we desire aright, we put our thoughts into the supermind realm. We contact God mind, and from it draw the invisible substance that is manifest in temporal things. The substance thus becomes a part of our mind, and through it, of our affairs. So now the subconscious aspect of mind, where the beliefs are stored, are forever reflecting on the screen of space as what he refers to as temporal things. Temporal means relating to physical things or experiences. Physical things or experiences are a manifestation of the application of spiritual law. This is true as we are formless, and we appear to move through various life experiences through imagination. The world made visible through the five senses only appears as temporal as we move through various life experiences, which is a reflection of imaginal activity. And by this it is meant, although the world may appear to change, the fulfilled self remains the same as the observer of it all. From there we contact the God mind through prosperity imaginings from the premise of having, calling upon the invisible substance to form various experiences of life related to prosperity. This is an integral approach of harmonizing spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical from the metaphysical cause, as there's only one cause, I am, the divine center of consciousness, from which we consciously choose to accept subconsciously and allow God to do everything else. God plays all roles and animates all to manifest the conscious imaginal act impressed upon the subconscious. He says, do not allow any words of poverty or lack to limit the attractive power of love in the home. Select carefully only those words that charge the home atmosphere with the idea of plenty, for like attracts like in the unseen as well as the seen. Never make an assertion in the home, no matter how true it may look on the surface, that you would not want to see persist in the home. So one may start thinking in a way that is not ideally related to prosperity. And by that I mean not from the premise of already having prosperity. This is why being aware of the words we speak is helpful to indicate the state operated from. Even if someone does not speak words, it can still be known by what one feels as real. You can always tell by your words and what you feel as real what state you're in. And if not ideal, no shame or condemnation. Accept self as already being fulfilled, and you'll find it easier to accept a prosperity-based state of consciousness. He says, we draw spiritual substance to ourselves just as the magnet draws the iron. When we think about the love of God drawing to us the substance necessary for support and supply, The substance begins to accumulate all around us as we abide in the consciousness of it. It begins to manifest itself in all our affairs. So have a healthy relationship with God. Like, for example, God within you gives the desires, fulfills, and actualizes prosperity. And God within you appears everywhere to take care of everything for you. That way, there's no shame or condemnation with respect to accepting your inherent prosperity. You simply accept self as being fulfilled, being created in the image of the Creator with prosperity given to you as your divine inheritance to allow it to appear done for you. Otherwise, a person may think they have to figure everything out themselves, rather than accepting it being done for them in ways perhaps past figuring out. Romans 11:33. Oh, the depth of the riches, both of the wisdom and knowledge of God. How unsearchable are His judgments and His ways past finding out. He says, you should expect prosperity when you keep the prosperity law. Therefore, be thankful for every blessing that you gain and as deeply grateful for every demonstration as for an unexpected treasure dropped into your lap. This will keep your heart fresh. Your true thanksgiving may be likened to rain falling upon ready soil, refreshing it and increasing its productiveness. I like how he says, be thankful for every blessing. This is the way to keep attention on prosperity. The moment you imagine already being in possession of prosperity, it starts to appear even in the most subtle detail. For example, if it is health prosperity you desire, it could appear as someone congratulating you on looking vibrant. This is an autosuggestion, as you are always self-suggesting in relation to what appears. So be aware of what you are self-suggesting in relation to appearances, and be thankful for the blessings. This thankfulness has an impression on your subconscious mind, by which the unseen power takes those impressions and externalizes them more so for you. He says, your words of truth are energized and vitalized by the living Spirit. Your mind is now open and receptive to an influx of divine ideas that will inspire you with the understanding of the potency of your own thoughts and words. You are prospered. Your home is a magnet of love, drawing to it all good from the unfailing and inexhaustible reservoir of supply. Now, this is what happens when you keep your mind in a prosperous state, which is how your mind is designed to be, an instrument to reveal your inherent prosperity. Thus, you have a mind so you can experience the prosperity you desire. Mind, which is reflective consciousness, refracts out the light of consciousness as the world made visible, reflecting what was planted into it. Mind is the Garden of Eden, consisting of the conscious aspect of mind for suggesting, the subconscious aspect of mind for accepting the suggestions, and the unseen power that takes what is accepted as true and projects out on the screen of space as life experiences. Again, as mentioned earlier, reality appears by law, and with law all things were made, and without law nothing was made that has been made. He says, there are many persons who will to be prosperous and who have made up their minds, as they think, very determinedly, but they have not overcome all doubts, and when their demonstration is delayed, as in such cases, the doubt increases until they lose faith altogether. And so what about doubts of your inherent prosperity? Well, you are beyond doubt. And here's what I mean by that. You exist beyond the mind, and the doubts can only appear in mind. One may relate doubts to life experiences, yet the relating is still occurring in mind. And when I say you are beyond doubt, it means just as you are aware of the doubt, you realize that you are not the doubt. You can only identify with doubt in mind. And just as you are beyond the identification to doubt in mind, you could choose to give it no attention, or we can say identification. He says, form your prosperity demonstration in your mind and hold to the divine law of fulfillment. You may not be able to fill all the vessels with oil on your first attempt, but as you practice the method day by day, your faith will increase and your results will be in proportion to your increasing faith. I like how he refers to the law as the divine law of fulfillment. As I always say, fulfillment is your true way of being. And by that I mean, being one with all. You already have all. So the law is how we accept self to experience whatever form of prosperity we desire. Faith can be looked at as being committed. In this regard, we are being committed to our fulfillment of prosperity, which plays out accordingly as the various prosperity-based experiences you desire to experience. And you've done this before. This is not new to you. Think of a time in your life where you felt intrinsically fulfilled, regardless of appearances or conditions in relation to the world of appearances. Notice how everything played out ideally automatically in the various areas of your life. I also relate this to the video we released last week on the autotelic. If you haven't seen it, I'll link in the description to it. So faith is abiding as you are, in fulfillment, application of the divine law of fulfillment, being as you are, which I say is the ideal way to relate to the law, fulfillment. As a person practices this all day long, they will find it easier to accept their inherent fulfillment and prosperity regardless of appearances, and thus they exemplify 2 Corinthians 5:7, for we walk by faith, not by sight. So to accept prosperity and to walk by faith in the feeling of fulfillment is to also deny lack, as he says here. Turn the telescope of your imagination around and look through the other end. Allow your attention to remain on the prosperity, as he suggested, both in the invisible and what is made visible from imagination through the five senses. And as you do, it saturates your mind with your true nature of fulfillment to allow your divine inheritance of prosperity to flow effortlessly and easily to you. So I trust you found this video to be helpful. Let's go ahead and conclude this with an auto-suggestion to further encourage. You could say, I acknowledge already being fulfilled as my true self is happiness and fulfillment, and ideal in every way possible. From this inner peace, I accept what I desire to play out as prosperity in the way I choose to experience prosperity, as prosperity is my divine inheritance to experience life with. If you would like a copy of this mind map, the link is in the description. Thank you very much for watching. I'll talk with you soon. Take care.